So I don't think there's a way to dilute Chinese power. Chinese material power is what it is, right? China is the second largest economy in the world. China is increasingly an innovative. It is leading. It's demonstrating the capacity to lead in critical technologies. We're thinking about 5G information technologies, for example, and others. And it is a significant military power now in the region. How China uses that power is the real question, because of course Japan is a significant power in many dimensions: technology, economic, wealth, military. And the United States, of course, has been the superpower for a long time, so we don't doubt that. India's presence is growing, its economic wealth is growing, although there's still some areas internally in which the Indian government has to continue to address poverty and all kinds of other challenges internally to India. But India is a huge player in the South Asian region, and it is the regionally dominant power. So you've got powers here that I wouldn't say dilute Chinese power. They may have capacities that will counterbalance some aspects of Chinese power. But I think what you see building is a network of capabilities, largely not always governed by the government, by the way, because private sector is live and well and independent in all of these countries we're talking about. It's not as if the government of the United States, Japan, India, or Australia can tell their private sector what to do, right? But I think what you're starting to see is a greater alignment in each of these countries between the government and the private sector. And I think all of that organized around the question of Chinese intention and the opportunities or vulnerabilities that engaging with China present. So I don't think it's a dilution. I think there is a networking or a coalition being built here that is less about diminishing Chinese power and more really about making sure that their own prosperity and security can continue to be maintained. That's the challenge here. It's not about taking China down, if you'll forgive my language. That's not at all what the motivation is behind the Quad. The motivation behind the Quad is a real deep concern that Beijing may be trying to undermine and weaken the economic prosperity of those countries, but also the ability of those countries to act in an open and free trading order, and that the alliances, especially with the Japan-US, Japan-Australia piece, or Australia-US piece, that they may be trying to undermine the security architecture in the region that has kept the region prosperous and peaceful for so long. So I think this is in many ways, common interest, driven by common interest, and it's increasingly being driven by common concern about how the Chinese see the utility of their power.